morning and welcome again to Sunday Morning at the Downs. We have a beautiful day out here at Tampa Bay Downs, and we're very privileged for our guest this morning to be the baseball legend from the 60s and 70s, Dick Allen. Mr. Allen, it's really good to be with you.
And very good to be with you. This is my favorite race place, one of them. And I made a lot of tracks, but this happens to be one of my tops over the winter, and good to be here with you, Mike.
Well, we're going to explore your great baseball career and your involvement with horse racing, but it was interesting last night that I was watching the NFL Network and I came across a 2-hour special on Joe Willie Namath.
How about you?
Who was raised just down the road from you.
2 miles,
He was raised in Beaver Falls,
exactly.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
You're from Wampum, Pennsylvania.
Exactly. Not only that, he was a good athlete, period. You know, he was a three-way. He also could play baseball, basketball. All three of them. As a matter of fact, there was a lot of them on here. Well, there's a lot of them around our area around there. They say it's in the water. Footballers, NFL, Mike Ditka, Ludito Groza, Darrell Dess. I could go on and on. Johnny Unitas, Marino, Montana, Kelly. I could go on and on and on. They all went football, and then I went the other way, baseball and racehorses.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned my classmate out at Notre Dame, Joe Montana.
Oh, yeah.
Monongahela.
Oh, you were there, and Theismann also.
Indeed. No, Montana and I were the same year, though.
Oh, okay.
And what memories that was. But what memories we have of your amazing career. You were signed as a teenager by a lifetime baseball man named John Ogden.
Yeah.
And I came across a passage. He said that Dick Allen was the only player he ever saw hit a ball as hard as Babe Ruth. This is a man who's been around the game forever. And Willie Mays, of all people, said that Dick Allen hit a ball harder than any player he'd seen.
Wow. See,
that's pretty impressive credentials.
And you know how that makes me feel. Those are like straight from the horse's mouth. No pun intended. But those are the things that are important to me. These are the higher ups of actually how the game is played and really the stars. John Ogden, he also signed Hank Aaron.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yes, he did. Warren Spahn, Hank Aaron. At that time, we had what we called bird dogs for scouts. And he'd go see him personally. And now he made a decision whether he signed them or not. He signed 150, I think it was 156 that made the major leagues.
Wow.
And actually made an impression. But more importantly, he signed 150 some that went on to be doctors and lawyers of such that made a great contribution to society. He had a great eye for talent, whether it be baseball or not. That's why I'm so proud of him. Really,
I guess anyone who follows baseball would like to be a scout, and certainly there's got to be an art to detecting the talent. And certainly, Mr. Ogden was right on when he signed you, according to the Wikipedia entry, for a $70,000 bonus, which I assume you are still playing off of here at the windows.
Well, they're still guessing at the numbers, like mostly of them really do. But where I'm mostly proud of them, they've probably never has been brought up, but he also was a pitcher in the major leagues for the old Browns and pitched against Babe Ruth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, him and his brother Jack, they were both pitchers. He was quite a competitor himself, a minor league club owner. He was with the old Boston Braves before they moved to Milwaukee. He put that thing together to flip the Yankees 56, 57.
57 they beat him, and 58 it went the other way.
They beat him twice here, 56, 57, and I guess they lost it at that time with such guys as Spahn, Burdette. We thought we were going to be a Brave. It was between the Dodgers and the Braves, and John Ogden wound up going to Philadelphia. Solly Hemus managed to one day, opening day, they fired him, but John Ogden in. I wind up in Philadelphia, and the rest of it is all turned out to be a tragedy.
Well, it's history, and what history it is. You came up late in the 1963 season, And then as a rookie in 1964, you had one of the greatest rookie seasons in history. You led the National League in runs, 125. You led the National League in triples with 13. You batted .318. You hit 29 homers, 91 RBIs. You were 7th in the most valuable player voting. And here's another interesting fact about Dick Allen. In the last 12 games of the 1964 season, you batted .438 with 5 doubles, 2 triples, 3 homers, and 11 RBIs. However, things did not work out the way you had hoped for that year, did they?
No, we got beat on the wire. I'll never forget, but you have to tip your cap to the St. Louis Cardinals. In September, they were 15 games out of first place, and they made a Seabiscuit move from way back there and nipped us at the wire. We won ours, and all the Mets had to do, all the Cardinals had the Mets, one game. Al Wise hit a home run. I think he hit one for the year. That beat us. So the Cardinals lined up, yep, right on the wire, by a nose. I don't know, they didn't have no stewards to separate it. I don't know, I'd like it to go the other way, but we did finish. We finished second.
And as it turned out, Philly fans had to wait another 16 years for the first World Championship, which by that time you had retired. But certainly the career you had is one of the best of that era, of the 60s and 70s. You hit 351 homers and 1,119 RBIs, and you had 7 All-Star appearances and 133 stolen bases, which I really didn't know you were that much of a speed demon. But in 1972, you know, Philly, I just want to go back. What kind of relationship did you have with Philly fans? Because they were known to boo Santa Claus at the Christmas parade.
I loved them, but as it turned out, they didn't love me. But I don't feel so bad. They didn't like anything. That was Euchre's. That was one of Euchre's favorite phrases. They boo Santa Claus. But I might mention also, John Ogden signed him. Also, yes, he did. But what people don't really know, he was a very good, outstanding defensive catcher. That's what kept him very good defensively. He went around, as you know. They brought him back to the Brave organization to catch Joe Niekro, the knuckleballer. He was very sure-handed catcher, and a very good guy in the clubhouse, comical as he could be. He really is, and devoted to baseball. Quite a teammate.
Mr. Allen, you moved around a little after the Phillies. You went to the Cardinals for 1 year in 1970. You were actually part of the famous Kurt Flood trade, in which
he had no idea that was really coming about. I took the suspension, and
he refused to go to Philadelphia.
Well, what is free agency? I'm not trying to drive my own apple, but at the very same time, I wanted to go. That's freedom. He wanted to stay.
Yeah.
So what Marvin Miller did, the Baseball Players Association, they came and talked to me at my house, and that's why I agreed to it. No one knows it today, and I don't like to really reveal it now, but it has turned it around for the good, I would think, because it helped even out the American League as opposed to the National League. Not really that good in terms of our All-Star games, because I think the last 25 or 26 American League has won it, where it was reversed the other way, if you recall.
Oh, when you were playing the National League, you could count on the National League to win that All-Star game every year.
You see what I mean? The competition was just so horrendously tough back then. 8 teams in the American League, and that was the junior circuit, they called it. 8 in the National League, and they one winner on the end. They clashed in October. Usually the Giants, Yankees, or Brooklyn Yankees. Yankees would prevail. They kept 2 teams, if you recall.
That's right.
But the competition was so tight, and all the clubs, the Giants, and they'd wear themselves out getting there. Geez, and there the Yankees would be waiting there fresh with
about the Yankees' dominance in the late 50s and early 60s, and I heard that Casey Stengel was once asked what his key to being a successful manager was, and he said, I got a 25-man roster. The key is keeping the 5 guys
healthy,
who hate my guts away from the 5 guys who aren't quite sure. Because those were the guys who didn't play every day. And they wanted to. But what a record he had. And what a record our guest had, Dick Allen. In 1972, you were traded from the Dodgers, who lost the division by 1 game the previous year, to the White Sox for the great left-handed pitcher Tommy John.
Right.
And I'm not going to say that you found new life in Chicago, but what an amazing year you had.
Well, if I could add to that, see, I look at some of the stats don't really tell the real true player that a ball player really has. I'll try to give you, for an instance, supposing we have runner at first, he's still second base. And there he is at third base. Stolen base, 0-2 count, taking the bat out of the hitter's hands. So now put him on. Double play ball, they go around the horn. We're out. He gets stolen base. We get no run. But there's a stolen base stat, which adds to it. We get no run. This is a team sport. So stats here, I don't think is a fair yardstick as a measure of a player, because even runner at third, sacrifice fly, he gets credit for an RBI. If we worked hard for that, huh? Ball 4, bottom to second, he gets to third base, sac fly, we're in. Well, my point I'm making, Mike, is that here it's a team sport. Well, how did it we stack the deck with his stats when you hear, like you just read my section? Oh, for not. We finished second with the Phillies, second with the Cardinals, second with the Dodgers, with the White Sox in 72. We went into Oakland. We only needed to win 1 of the 3. We lost all 3. But we had kids. The Cardinals had a clean house. We had rookies. No cast. We went to the Dodgers. No cast. All rookies. Say, Garvey, Lopes, Russell. Again, with the White Sox, all kids. I'm beginning to be 30 some years old. It makes you wonder, golly, where's my World Series ring? Most of the players that you just mentioned, they're Hall of Famers. They had a cast. Mays had McCovey, players, Cepeda. You see, but we go from club to club to club, so I'm feeling like maybe they're using you as a teacher. You see, for one pay. You're being paid to play, but you're also teaching. So the fun of it here, get the Chicago Tanner knot together. We teach kids. I really love that bunch. But anyway, I'm pretty much satisfied the way it really goes, because stats don't really tell the truth about a real player.
Well, Chuck Tanner, your manager with the White Sox in 1972, is regarded as one of the great baseball men of all time, and certainly a large portion of the baseball world, and not just Pirate fans, were delighted when he won the 1979 World Series with the Pirates. But your words about stats to the aside, I really need to mention that in that 1972 season with the White Sox, you came very close to winning the Triple Crown. You had 37 home runs and 113 RBIs, and both figures led the league, and you batted .308, which was third in the American League. It was only 10 points behind the great Rodney Carew. So you had a season that could have been one of the most famous ever, and certainly anyone my age still remembers it with a great deal of admiration.
You know, that's my son sitting over there. Until right now with this Hall of Fame thing, you know, I never really paid much attention to stats. Baseball is a team sport to me. Not like the game from the inside out. The player, we see it from inside out, not like the fan sees it from outside in. He brings my attention to some of the things right now I never paid much attention to. When we lose, as a team, but we all lose. You see, and I remember that year that you just mentioned, Mike, that we beat Trophy State over at Chicago for a year and a half. I refused to bring it home. When it's all over, said and done, we bust our tails and, you know, learning to play together all year long. We come up, we finish second in a photo. We lose it, but it makes me feel so bad here. They'll give everything to you, but how about those other guys that are in there too? I wish I had an axe. I could have chopped a piece of that off and give to everybody, but it stayed there in that clubhouse. And finally, I think it was the trainer, Charlie Sad. He sent it forward to home. The reason I'm saying that, if you wanted to play individual sport, why not box or swim or play tennis or rock climb or something? Baseball is a team sport, right? When one loses, we all lose, you see. So I really can't see singling one guy out and here he's a star here while we all go down the drain. I really don't know, but he's pointed out some things, stats that I've never really. We either win it or lose it, but it makes me pretty proud now of myself, blowing my own horn or shining my own apple here for a change.
Well, let me talk about being a teammate for a minute. In 1972, one of your teammates was a fireballing relief pitcher named Rich Goose Gossage.
Oh yeah, terrific.
And in college, he was still with the White Sox, I believe, and we took a road trip from Notre Dame to Comiskey Park, and a friend of mine around the 7th inning, it was a close ball game, he said, "We've got to go down and sit behind first base." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because Rich Gossage is starting to warm up,
the goose,
and we don't want to miss that."
Yes.
He's the only guy I know who, in a major league game, we actually went down to watch warm up before he came in. But the point I was going to make,
you could have sat where you were, because he could make that glove pop. If you couldn't sit there and see it, you could hear it way up from wherever you were sitting. He threw that thing pretty hard.
Oh man,
he was a very good student of the game.
Well, Rich Gossage, who went into the Hall of Fame a few years ago, and this is a direct quote from him, referring to our guest Dick Allen, said, "He's the greatest player I've ever seen play in my life. He had the most amazing season, 1972, that I've ever seen, and he taught me how to pitch from a hitter's perspective." That's quite a compliment.
Well, that's what it really is. It's not only that, I really treasured him. He was only about 18 or so, but in the bullpen, in the early parts of the game, come here, he sat right there by me, and we used to discuss little things there. When pitchers usually in trouble. I did mention to him here, you throw at his hand. He'd bust that ball in there. He learned to pitch inside. He'd reach in their hand, depending on where his hands were, where he came, he'd throw that ball right up there. He says, "No, suppose I hit somebody." "Don't say la vie. That's your curveball." But he mastered that. But he was quite a student of the game. You know, he knew a lot of other things about that game rather than coming out of that bullpen. He's one of my pride students. I can't say enough of good things about him.
Well, the Goose is a true legend of the game.
Yes,
in 1976, you had the good fortune, 75, I believe, but you went back to the Phillies toward the end of your career, and you did make your first postseason appearance, although you did lose in the playoffs to the Big Red Machine. It had to be very meaningful to at last get to the postseason, even though you didn't quite make the series.
Well, that's kind of frustrating. People don't realize it. They call it the Big Red Machine, but I don't think the best team really won it.
That series?
Yes, I think we had. We played them, I think it was 12 or 14 times. That, like 2, 3.
Wow.
But when we got to the playoffs, they set everybody down. We started rookie in right field, rookie in center field, and they brought him up. And speaking with Paul Owens, that God rest his soul in peace, he mentioned, he says, Dick, it's a shame that we know now, we didn't know then. He said, geez, we handled them so easy all summer. When we got to the playoffs, we thought we'd put the guys in from the AAA because we didn't know how we were going to pay all you guys. So after we lose the first 2, they put us back in. We lose it 2-1, but they washed the Yankees out in 4. to this day, because everybody could say that, but to this day, I really feel that the best team did not win it.
And I'm entirely certain that you do. I was a young man at the time, and the Reds
I was
certainly,
too.
and you were too. And the Reds certainly had all those legends with Bench and
Yes,
Perez
they did.
and Foster and the great players and Griffey and.
But we had Mike Schmidt and Boa and Maddox and Carlton, and we could match up. We matched up pretty good. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No, you got to play with Mike Schmidt, and in 1976, according to what I read, he was really struggling, and you basically told him, in effect, go out there and have fun.
Exactly.
You're pressing and pretend like you're still a kid playing on the sand
With
line.
all that talent you have, relax and have fun. I've been there. Fans in Philly were tough boy back at that time. A lot of it get Jim and maybe a lot trying to impress, pressing and all too much analyzed everything.
The story has it that was the day he hit 4 home runs at Wrigley Field.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So he definitely took
Proud
your
of
words
him.
to heart.
Yeah, quite a ball player, huh? Quite a player.
You know, you played third base, first base later in your career. You played some outfield, and you also played a few games at second and short. But
Left field, center, and right, wherever needed.
you didn't catch.
Nope, but was a third string catcher, and let me see, Cookie Rojas, who's quite a ball player. At those
Indeed.
times, yeah. Brought up an interesting thing while we are here, Mike. A fella from Sports Illustrated did an article. I guess he thought he was writing a good article. Said, horrendous, just terrible, horrendous with a glove defensively. I was at third base. I come up in '63. We were in Houston. I played 7 games. You know, they call the rookies up at the end of the year in '63. I remember we were in the dugout. Gene Mock made a move. Sent somebody up the bench hit, double switch or whatever. He looked down. Gee, nobody at third base. He said, Vidal, you ever played third base? I said, I played 1 inning in high school. Get a glove, go on over there.
Oh, wow,
I said, "Jeez." Well, there I was, right? I could catch the ball, but I throw that thing everywhere. So I think I'm really judged by here bad defensively. Number 1 son just brought it up last night. Defensively, I think I had a .975 fielding average, but
More than respectable at the hot corner.
well, I mean, for a career defensively, but nobody ever, they just keep harping. I hit very poor defensively. Pittsburgh got a kid, the third baseman, same way right now, and I don't think no one's ever taught him here to figure out the speed of the runner. And that's why he hurries some throws, he takes off, he's not confident. No one's ever taught him here to learn the speed of the hitter. Catch that ball cleanly, and I know I had trouble with it. See, from third base, made 38 errors, throwing errors, but in the way of the runner 6 times. Didn't know where I was going, huh? Running into the runner, yeah, interference calls. I don't know about third base. No one taught you to play it, just go on over there. So you're very bad, so I think those things are unfair.
As great as Mike Schmidt was, I have to say, and I'm kind of an old codger in this regard, but the greatest third baseman was Brooks Robinson, the human vacuum cleaner.
I'll go there. You didn't see Billy Hitchcock with the Dodgers, did you?
I sure didn't.
Oh, geez, a human vacuum. Wow. But both of those guys, you see, when they get that good, there's no real sense of comparing them, is there?
Hey, I want to bring up one thing before we start talking a little bit about horses, which probably most people expect us to on this Sunday morning show. We're here with Dick Allen, who last year you were up for before what they call the Golden Era Committee to vote for Baseball Hall of Fame candidates who were not voted in by the writers. You got 11 out of the necessary 12 votes, as did Tony Oliva, to gain admission to Cooperstown. So certainly that had to be very encouraging to you. How important is this to you to join the cast at
Oh, not
Cooperstown?
I don't believe in that campaigning for those things. The fun is on the field playing. The rest of it here is a vote by people that have just opinions, which could be very well prejudice. Prejudice doesn't mean color. It means judgment without fact. And with that here, what hurts me so bad, I don't care about self, because I got all the enjoyment out of playing, and that'll stay in people's minds or hearts. And I have a little story about it. There goes a guy over there with a New York Yankees. But a little fun. But what I am, Mike, about it was heartbreaking. How about for, like you just missed it, Mr. Ogden, Mr. Carpenter III, Bob Carpenter III, my mother. Yeah, my mother, the family, Tanner. People with such a, felt like I kind of let them down, but it's out of my hands. It's into people's hands here with the voting, and from my understanding, things here, I don't know, people were kind of a little disgruntled with the way the voting goes here and there. But how about the other players that were on that ballot? Either one of them could have, they certainly belong in. Gil Hodges, Billy, oh geez, man, how about
Jim Cott is another. Minnie Minoso.
Tony Oliva. Many. You've seen most of them here, and I think it was just a tragedy. Buck O'Neill. You see, from the Negro Leagues to here, for me, I'd have been honored that they put him in, being a black man myself. Phillies never had a black Hall of Famer. A lot of these clubs have never had a black, but here, one vote for him, and then we lose him. He goes home and dies. I felt more bad about that than our own and the rest of those guys on that ballot. Not for myself. I got all the fun out of it that dear God meant for me to have, and if for any of it, any fun to be had, I didn't miss much of it.
Well, I was so blessed to meet Buck O'Neill late in his life.
Oh, you did? No,
of course,
very good.
he was the star of the Ken Burns series on baseball.
Okay,
and,
yes. He's a great ambassador for the game. Yes. Yes, very deserving.
You've met. It's a real privilege.
Very deserving Hall of Famer, but missed it. My gosh,
I'm going to bring up one more thing, and you can certainly see looking at Dick Allen's forearms here that he could probably still crush a ball. He was one of the premier power hitters of his time. 18 times he cleared the left field grandstand in Connie Mack Stadium, which was 65 feet high. You hit a lot of tape measure shots. You hit some over 500 feet, but amazingly enough, you were the first guy in the modern era to hit 2 inside the park home runs in the same game. You did it off of Burt Blyleven, another guy who's got Hall of Fame credentials.
Well, he's Hall of Fame, man. What a curveball. Huh? Quite a pitcher yourself. But well, you're bringing up a lot of things that I never really give much thought to. Did we win it?
Yeah, you won the game.
Oh,
yeah.
Then, okay. Then
8-1,
that's most important to me. Yeah, because I never did get a World Series ring myself. Put me over there and hand me a Norm, me and Ernie Banks. Yes. Never got a World Series ring, but the Phillies did give me one by being with the Phillies now. And geez, it's the tears. 2 times when they raised number 42, and when Jackie Robinson, his daughter, was hanging on my arm. His wife, Rachel, she refused to come, but the daughter came, and while they raised that flag as it was going up, she kept squeezing my arm tighter, tighter, tighter. Before I knew it, tears were running out of my eyes. And I don't know what's the matter with me. Never have I cried on an athletic field. There's no crying at baseball. Said the movie.
League of Their Own.
But I don't know. I guess I was overwhelmed. My brother wore it. My brother Hank wore number 42. Nobody will ever be aware of that again, you see. But the joy that it brought, you see. So Hall of Fame for me. I watched that flag going up. I'm satisfied with the way it really is. And the rest of it is up to the fan. If they think I'm deserving, fine. But I've already had mine when that flag was. There's been so many that's been missed.
And that's very rewarding to hear that. The next Golden Era Committee vote is in 2018, I believe. Now, your two brothers, Hank and Ron,
Right.
both played in the major leagues.
Yeah.
But Hank made a bigger name for himself as a thoroughbred trainer. He was very successful in Maryland, and in 1989, he brought a horse named Northern Wolf to the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. Were you at either of those races?
No, I routes are too large for me, but followed those horses every day. I worked around the barn there with him. He also had on the move, quite a few of them.
Northern Wolf had the bad luck of being in the same class
Yeah, he
as
come out of the
Sunday
auxiliary
Silence
gate.
and Easy Goer.
He come out of the auxiliary gate, but he wasn't gonna beat Sunday Silence. I didn't think he had too much horse, and the other horse finished second. But he was a very nice horse. The thing I love about horse racing is the competitiveness that they have inside. When they turn from home and reach that quarter pole from there, between that 3/16 pole, they get eye to eye. He'll break himself down before he'll quit. That thing that gives me goosebumps. Geez, we could be down 7-2. A lot of guys on our little, geez, their heads will be down, they've given up. But not that racehorse. I wish we had some guys on our bench like that. That's the time to go. You know, and somehow or another, I'm mesmerized by it when I see the good ones. Boy, when they get collared, they be eye to eye. Either one of them going to give it up. Boy, it reminds me of good baseball players and football players and, geez, even the tennis players, them girls even.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, oh man, that thing gives me chills. Now it's time to go when they get eye to eye. They be bombing heads. Geez, I'd love to play on a team like that with a bunch of your teammates like that. Mesmerize me, these horses, boy, the competitiveness that they have. Golly.
Well, the one Hank had was a good one, Northern Wolf. I should mention that as a 4-year-old, he set 2 track records, including one at Pimlico in winning the prestigious Frank J. DeFrancis Memorial Dash. So your brother did a great job with him. But you were telling me this morning, and Andrew Dembski, our videographer here, that you were instrumental somewhat in kind of discovering the great Hall of Fame jockey John Velasquez.
Yes, boy, very proud of him and what character. He was like 17, speaking no English. Angel, we were like Angel Cordero, who were like brothers. He has a great competitiveness inside of him too, probably the best I've ever seen pull on a pair of boots. But what he knows about the game, and actually got a real good eye for horses, picking horses too. He can do everything what a horse of man is supposed to be able to. He came from out of the stall, you know, back then.
Angel, you're talking
about.
about.
Oh yeah, you rub 4. He was rubbing 4, ride 9 for his daddy. Hey, go kids, go play, have
Puerto
fun.
Rico.
Yep.
Yes.
He finish up, rake the shed up. Okay, kids, go play, have fun. He run to the jock's room. He ride 9. As soon as he got done with his 9, he had to run back, catch his 4. So you see, there's Johnny. I'm living with Angel. He said, Margie, pregnant, way out here, brother. You got to give me a hand around the barn. I come from California, New York. Dickie Delp was looking at a horse that they wanted to buy, Red Ransom. Every morning about 4. He'd come down the stairs. He went to Snake that night. He'd be the first guy on the racetrack galloping a horse the next morning. Here I'm looking at this video, Come on, brother, we're going to be late. We're going to be late. You make me late. Third day, he come down there. You're looking at that video again. What are you looking at? That horse? I know, that kid on that. He was Bug Boy in Puerto Rico. But the more I see him, his balance is like he was standing at the plate. He was a good ball player too. I'm a little mesmerized by it. Angel got tired of me with that. He said, you like him that much? Let's get him over here. He went to the kitchen phone. He picked the phone up in Spanish. He comes back and says, he'll be here Monday. You're his agent. I don't know about being an agent. And that's how Johnny came over. We walked under Sid Waters' barn.
Okay.
And he said, I'm Dick Allen. I have Johnny Velasquez. We got 10 pounds. Maybe you'll give him a look if we can do something for you in the morning. Maybe you look at him here, gallop a horse and all. He looked at him. Does he speak English? All right, get out of here. So I turned her and I looked at Sid. You see, there's your horses, Sid. Do they talk to you? Do you understand your horses when they do talk to you? You know, them shed roads at Belmont are long from here to that start. Come on, Johnny, let's go. We waited till we got down way to the end. He took his hat off. He's wiping his hat off. Hey, you! Come back here. I come back here. He said, damn it, you know, you're right. Can you have him here at 6 o'clock next month? Sure, let me see. So he let Johnny get on. He said, well, I see him there. You think you have time to get on? I pretended like we were busy. Well, wait, let me run up here and tell them here, Johnny, he got another with you. We didn't. He watched it too. He lined up there, put him on everything. Look at him now. I'm just as proud of him. What character he got, polished. See, Angel's like he's like a son to me, and Angel. Love him the way he carries himself. Boy, you bring up soft moments from me, Mike.
Well, it's certainly, and we're waiting for that tractor to go by. They're getting the track ready for the races. It's certainly enlightening and
that's good stuff, ain't it, Ann?
To learn that you were John Velasquez's first agent here in the United States, and the career he's gone on.
Think about it, so Mike, I keep interrupting you as you're going on. You know, I had to leave him here with Angel because he was becoming a better jockey than I come an agent. I had to get out of there.
Well, Angel was his agent for a lot of years. Is he still?
Still, yeah.
Oh, still is? Okay.
That's our son. That's our son. We love him.
Forged an incredible career in Animal Kingdom, I believe, right?
Yep.
In 2011 Derby was his
It's
Derby.
fun. Even our jockey Colin here, Steve, I have so much respect for the jockey. They're like athletes to me. No one really knows how they have to apply themselves. The work being done, like me and Andy were discussing before we come on the air here. These guys have to put their work in to learn their trade before they can do that and still maintain, even after when they're on the ground. Races are over. They can't fill their bodies up with a lot of that junk. They got to make that scale just like we did. You see, my hat's off to them. I have deep respect for them.
My respect for them grows day by day, year by year. Well, you know, they are getting the track ready for racing, and certainly we could sit here and talk with Mr. Allen all day.
It's just fun. I'm out here all day,
the
too.
Battery would run out. But I think what we're going to do is schedule for sometime in the near future part 2 of this discussion.
Very good.
It's just been a tremendous pleasure to talk with Dick Allen. There's so many stories that we didn't tell. There's so many stories that we couldn't tell. And and there's so many stories still to be written. And we're hoping that the next one, sincerely and from our heart, is your eventual election to the Hall of Fame. I got to be entirely honest with you. After your rookie season in '64, when the Phillies contended, the Phillies didn't contend again after that for a lot of years. And me being a Giant fan and a Willie Mays fan, remember what he said about you, though. He said you hit the ball harder than anyone, himself included. And being such a Giant fan, it wasn't until I was doing some research this morning that I had a greater appreciation for your career and all that you achieved and all that your teammates said about you as far as being an exemplary teammate. And it was an era socially of turmoil and upheaval. It was very difficult for a lot of black players to break in and adapt. Did the Phillies train in Clearwater at that time when you came up with them?
Yes, we did. Population of 11,000. I used to sit here when it was Sunshine Park, where the Jocks room is right now. That was the grandstand for the blacks. We weren't allowed over there, but they used to let me sit on that pole over there and watch the races if we get a day off. I like to watch the races like people like to watch the ball games. I rarely go to the window, but I just love to be around the racetrack. And you make it so easy, an informal talk at the racetrack. I don't know. Is this an interview? You made it just.
Oh, well,
You made it just fun, like it being at the races here today.
It's wonderful to relive these times. Spring training is my favorite time of year. I'm sure there was.
I know.
I'm sure
Yep.
there. Well, I'm not going to speak for you, but maybe there were 1 or 2 years when you came to spring training 10 pounds overweight and had to work a little harder than you wanted to. I don't know.
No.
We love watching spring training. We always have
yeah,
since we
yeah.
moved here. And
I
anyway,
pretty much stayed in shape.
I know you did. I do remember
Yeah,
that as I
he
was
made a little
saying
fun,
that,
Andrew.
I
He
knew-
made a little fun.
I knew that you did.
Ow, that hurt body shot.
I never saw you.
You're still my
overweight,
man, Mike.
So it's so good to be with you this morning, and we appreciate you taking
Yeah.
time out of the day, and look forward to talking to you in the near future.
Real good to be with
Thank
you,
you so
Mike.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure.